Hey, yeah, what's up? This is Disciple Marcello Kearns, reign back up in this anti-Illuminati all day, anti-telepathy all day, anti-America all day, and everybody with them. All right, so my campaign is 40 states allows children to have sex. That's my campaign until people get it, to the revolution, the rebellion starts. I'm gonna keep harping on it. 40 states allows children to have sex. I'm gonna keep harping on that, keep harping on that, keep harping on that until the rebellion and revolution starts. Okay, so that's what it is, and that's how it's gonna be going into 2022. We're not leaving it alone. I'm going straight into it. I'm going all the way full throttle. It's going all the way. It's all the way turned up 100. All right. So we gotta. I'm gonna be breaking it down. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be breaking down these 40 states. I'm gonna be breaking this down, like I told you in the other videos, down into percentages, statistics, and all of that. Okay. But on this video tonight, we're gonna talk about New York City, New York State allowing their age of consent being set at 17. Okay. This is for all you people that's playing around with me. I gotta do this. You know what I'm saying? Because everyone want to act like they for the kids. You know what I'm saying? And no disrespect to Wu Tang, but they people say Wu Tang is for the kids, but Wu Tang is from the state of New York. New York allows children to have sex at 17. And quite frankly, we all know that Wu Tang music is not for the children. Wu Tang themselves may be for the children, but the message is not for the children. Okay, I gotta do that, man, cause I gotta keep it 100. We gotta be progressive. Everybody want to talk about, I can take it. I can take constructive criticism. Okay, well, Wu Tang Clan is not for the music. The lyrics is not for children. They the best. I'll give them that. But the music itself is about sex, this, that, and the third, the realities of that, and we all know, having our understanding on a higher level, that this, even though we may not be glorifying it, it does glorify it, and children will be influenced by it to do those things. It does glorify it. Anytime you put it behind a beat, it's going to glorify it. It's going to. It don't and quite frankly, it's a lot of songs in the Wu-Tang catalog that just straight out talks about these things, not in a cautionary tale type of way. Okay? I just gotta do that. You know what I'm saying? That's no disrespect, but that's the facts. That's not bias, that's facts information. Okay? What's also facts information is 17 is the allowed age of consent for New York, for the state of New York. That 17 is not an adult. 17 is not a man. 17 is not a woman. In this whole time in New York State, y'all have been allowing children to have sex. All children that are 17 are not big, voluptuous, and tall, and look like Amazons. All the 17-year-old girls don't look like Amazons here in New York City. There are some 17-year-old girls. So you got to see this part, because the first thing people are going to try to do is defend for the and by bringing up the mature girls, the tall girls. That's what you're going to do. But I want you to look at and think about, while this video is going on, the 17-year-old girls that look like they 12. All the 17-year-old girls that look like they 11. The scrawny little nerd 17-year-old girls. that look like they 12. Those little nerdy girls that look like they 12 can have sex with any adult they want. We got to do this, man, because it's a lot of sneaky little people that's going around playing sneaky little games. And so while you playing and being sneaky, I'm going to fire all through the bushes and I'm hitting everything. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to hit you through the bushes, which 17 is the age of consent for sex in New York. What you going to say? I made it up? You mad at me or you mad at the truth? You mad at me or you mad at the truth? That there's some 17-year-old girl who do not look like she's ready for sex. But yet, here in New York, she can have sex. Looking like she's 12 years old. Looking like she's 4. Well, I can say 4, but... but looking like she's barely 12. You know, she can have sex in this state of New York. That's what I'm trying to show you. So while you acting like, yeah, we protect the children, you don't. You don't. And you didn't vouch for it. And you can say, well, it's not my fault. But you didn't protest about it. You've been cool with it. You've been cool about it. Let's say that. But this is the real truth. And the bottom line is a child is you in the human world, not some alienation world. In the human world, okay? I gotta say this, because it's got telepath, psychics, and all this kind of stuff out here. So in the human world, and people that just live in the anime world too, in the human world, you're either a child or an adult. There's no in between. There's no almost. By law, you're either a child or an adult. So whatever you're doing, whatever place and time under the American government, you're either one of two things, either an adult or a child. In real time, at all times, you're either one or the other. You're either one or the other. You can't be under the American government halfway an adult. I'm halfway a child, I'm halfway an adult. You know, half of my face is adult, halfway of my face is a child. Halfway of my head is adult, halfway of my legs is a child. Under the American government, in all of real time, you are either an adult or a child. I gotta take it here because you don't get it. You trying to split hairs, you trying to justify. No. I'm showing you right here that in real times, all real times, in spaces and times, as long as the world exists, if you are either under the American government, a child or an adult. So with all that being said, New York State is allowing human beings that are in real time, children, to have sex. You have children in real time under the American government allowed to have sex in all of real times. You know what this means? Your New York community has no right to even witch hunt anybody because you have as law, not as opinion, not as perspective. You have as law in all of real times that human beings here that are not adults can have sex. You can't witch hunt nobody here. You can't look at nobody in the face talking about pedophilia. How are you going to talk about pedophiles when you allow children to have sex in real times, in all real times, under law here in the whole state of New York? That's bodied, man. But what you can do is I'm gonna tell you what you could do, and which is what the solutions is, because I'm about the solutions, not only mentioning the problems. Not only mentioning the problems, mention the solutions too. See, that's what's wrong with some of these people. They can tell you what the problem is, but they can't tell you the solutions. Or they can tell you the solutions, but they can't tell you the problems. Like the FBI. They got all the solutions of what to do to the pedophiles. Yeah, in the black community too. The hood politics too. You got all the solutions what to do with these pedophiles, but you don't know the problem. So everyone goes to either extreme. Okay, you know the solutions. You know how to throw people away and put people in jail and throw away the key. But you still got 40 states that still allowing children to have sex. So you don't know what the problem is. Then you got people that know what the problem is and they don't have no solutions. All they can do is get angry and rave at you and tell you, rah, 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 rah. But they can't tell you no solutions. They can't break down solutions to you. Okay? That's what we got going on here in America. I'm showing you the problem, and I'm giving you the solutions. The solutions is you have to rebel and start over. I know it's a hard pill to swallow, but that's what you got to do. They are not going to change these laws. They're not going to change these laws, okay? Same thing with gay marriage in 50 states. They're not going to change these laws. So you have to rebel. You have to tear this down and say, hold up, wait a minute. They went too far. We got to tear it down. Because they're not going to change these laws. 50 states allowing gay marriage. That's not going to change, man. So you have to rebel. You have to rebel. Okay, because before there's a revolution, there's a rebellion. That's what I think. I think that's how that goes. You have to rebel, and then that produces the revolution. You can't just get a revolution. You have to rebel against something. You have to make your voice heard in rebellion against something. This is why I say these people are not on these levels. They don't even have they shouldn't even be next to people like me. Because you're not doing anything. You're just a person standing around thinking you have the ability to fight me, and you don't. That's what you are. You don't know what I know. You're not revealing what I know. So you're just here trying to see if you can get a fight going. That's all you're doing. Yeah, nobody will see that. That's why you're getting knocked out the way without me even doing anything. Because the universe is not going to allow you to play with me and you doing nothing. And you saying nothing. That's ignorance. That's a dead, ignorant person. They dead already. And the universe has its ways of getting rid of you. You don't think so, but you will see. Oh yeah, with my life, I can't speak for anybody else's life. When they were doing all kind of questionable things, I can't speak for them. Okay? I can only speak for me. And that's what happens. A lot of y'all think, well, if something happened to Martin Luther King Jr., then something's going to happen to that person. But Martin Luther King Jr. was having sex on his wife, committing adultery, when all of that, the movement was going on. He let the devil in. Okay? And by spiritual laws, that's letting the devil, Satan in, and he can bring death and destruction. So I can't tell you, based on that, I can't say that that's going to be my outcome when I'm doing things differently as an adult. I'm doing things differently. No disrespect to the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He's going to always be the greatest leader because of the times that he did things, the oppositions that he faced while he was preaching, while he was protesting, while he was letting his voice be heard. He will always be the greatest for that reason. But if you look at his life and say, well, and that's what a lot of people do in America. Well, if Martin Luther King died, that person gonna die. Well, hey, I'm not making no mistakes. I'm not making no spiritual mistakes like adultery. Therefore, God can protect me greater. That's key. I gotta keep it 100 on that. Okay, so back to the teaching at hand. You got 17 set as the age of consent for sex here in America. In New York. You don't have the right to be trying to play with people. These are warning shots because while you're playing, you know what God is looking at? That you allow children to have sex in real time, in all real times in the state of New York. I established this. Either people are adults or they're children. So while you New York fresh, keep that in mind, partner. Keep that in mind, partner. While you New York fresh with your Yankee on, children are allowed to have sex in the whole state of New York. Because you either have adults or children. So while you New York fresh, keep that in mind, buddy. That's for the women too. While you New York fresh, they're allowing children to have sex. Okay? That's what you need to know. Okay? Because you can't have it both ways, man. You can't have it both ways. You cannot sit here and act and play games with real people like me and you letting children have sex. You can't feed that foolishness to me. You can't feed that bushwhack dad, well, you're almost there. You can't feed that to me. That's bushwhack drunk dad stuff. Hey, well, you're almost there. I guess you're ready. That's what I'm trying to show you. This is happening right here in New York. While you New York fresh, 17-year-olds that are not children, that some of them can be little, scrawny, and all of that. You've seen these 17-year-old girls. All of them are not voluptuous and big and look like women and have even faces like women. You look at their face, look like a baby, like 12. Her glasses are still bigger than her head. And she can have sex right now. Not tomorrow, not next year, right now in all real times in America. A New York 17-year-old scrawny girl that looks like she's 13, where her glasses is bigger than her head, she can have sex right now in your country. And that's what I'm trying to show you. We've all been deceived. So you'll say, well, Marcello, what's the solution? The solution is rebellion. Because you're not going to get 50 states to let go of gay laws. That's not going to happen. You're not going to get 40 states that says we all of it's going to be adult now. It's just too late anyway. Can you imagine how many people in New York State, how many 17-year-old girls have had sex based on that law with somebody that's an adult? All these slick 20-year-olds, that's the one that got them. It wasn't probably no 30-year-olds. It could have been. But most likely it's these little fresh, New York fresh dudes. They hat down low. You know the type. Short but stocky. All down here. Looking like he about 17, but he 24, 7 years older. Boom. And he's done maneuvered and had sex with a 17-year-old girl, and now they got a baby, and her life is destroyed because now she got to work anywhere to get money for that baby. This is the reason also why you don't do it. Okay, girls can be mature. I understand that. But they're not financially responsible at 17. And they shouldn't be having a child and having all their dreams erased because now they got to submit to the fact that they have a child. That's why. Of course there's girls that look like they're 20 and they're 17. Of course, especially these days with the hormone in the food. I know that. You got hormones in the chicken. You know, and these girls are becoming more voluptuous at an earlier age. However, they're still not financially responsible. They're not financially responsible enough to have children. And they shouldn't also have a child in the way of their dreams. They could have went to school, they could have went to college, they can't do that now. You know how many girls have had their dreams destroyed because they had to go to work and do anything they could because they had a child too young? You know how many girls that went through that? Countless. So this is not the only reason. Oh, they just not old enough. Their children. It's also because they're not financially responsible. They're not even ready to take care of the child, and they will not live out their full potential. Starting out having sex that young, I guarantee you they won't. If they make it past 17 and 18, not having children, I guarantee you by the time they the age of that little guy with the Yankee on, by the time they his age, they're gonna have 2 kids. So while you New York fresh, during these holidays, thinking about going down to Times Square to see the ball drop, keep in mind that some 17-year-old girl is having sex with an adult while that ball is dropping. Okay? Keep that in mind. While you counting down 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2022, some 17-year-old scrawny girl that look like she's in the 7th grade is having sex with a 40-year-old guy. Another 17-year-old girl is having sex with some little New York fresh guy. That's what you gotta think about. So while you got these little people, these little hounds that like to hunt people, even using the children, won't you tell those children that the children are allowed to have sex by law in America with adults? Let's put it this way. Won't you tell the children of New York City and the state of New York that adults are allowed to have sex with 17-year-old children? Won't you tell them that while you're sending them out there to hunt other people like they're pedophiles? Won't you tell them that they're up next as far as pedophiles go? Won't you tell them they up next? Because the state right here, this city right here, allows children to have sex at 17 in the state of New York. That's the age of consent, 17 years old. So they up next. And you can't say what they gonna become, and especially when people be throwing money They telling you one thing right now, and somebody flashed $2,000-$3,000, that same little boy will be having sex with whoever. Boom. So tell him he up next. While he trying to point out pedophiles and being used by you to say certain things to people they perceive as pedophiles, tell him he's up next. Yeah, tell him he's up next. Because you ain't going to know what he's going to be like by the time he gets 17. Oh, okay. You think you do. Okay. With all these drugs, alcohols, altering people's mind, and all these pills and drugs, you know what he's going to do when he turns 17. Okay. Tell him he's up next. Let's put it like this. The potential of him messing with a pedophile is very high when 17 is the age of consent in his city, in his state. The potential is very high for him to be next. Yeah, ain't nobody playing no games. So that's for you, New York. You can't be nobody judge when you allow all these kids in all 5 boroughs. Kids can have sex in all 5 boroughs in New York. You can't be nobody judge, man. While you New York fresh in all 5 boroughs, children are allowed to have sex here. People are either children or adults. There's no in between. So children are allowed to have sex in the 5 boroughs and in the state of New York.